That's great. Did you have a good week off, Guillermo?
Yeah, it was great, fantastic.
Who did you pick to win the NCAA office pool?
Duke.
You picked Duke. Did you watch the game on?
Yeah, what a crazy game.
Did you use the F word watching the game on Saturday?
A lot.
I have Florida to win. You know, Florida played Houston tonight for the college basketball title. And while I did not win our pool here at the office, I did well. I was top 3. And most importantly, I edged out my son, Kevin, who's a basketball fiend. He had Duke, so he had... This is why we have kids, to beat them at things. That's right. This was disappointing. Our World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers today met the draft dodger-in-chief at the White House. It was a unique opportunity for the franchise that signed Jackie Robinson to meet the president who had him removed from our government websites. You know, a lot of fans are wondering why the Dodgers organization, the Dodgers players, would have anything to do with Trump, why they would go. We have to remember, we had a big fire here at the beginning of the year, and Donald Trump is the one who, 5 days after the fires went out, turned on an imaginary valve and sent millions of gallons of water hundreds of miles away from here. So we owe him. We at least owed him this. So the team showed up, and you could tell Trump was appreciative because he seemed to have, I don't know if you watched the whole World Series, he seemed to have a deep and specific understanding of what the Dodgers accomplished last season.
All year, the Dodgers faced down adversity. You entered the playoffs battered and bruised, but not broken. When you ran out the healthy arms, you ran out of really healthy. They had great arms, but they ran out. It's called sports. It's called baseball in particular. And pitchers, I guess you could say, in really particular.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. It's called sports. It's called baseball in particular. And pitchers, I guess you could say, in really particular. His brain is basically a pouch of Big League Chew.
And Max Muncy, I want to congratulate Max. Max. Come here, Max. His arms are very strong when I touch them. I'm used to shaking politicians and hitting their arm, and it's like Jell-O. And now it's like steel, all these guys.
Steel? Well, put a tariff on it then. It's steel. I have to say, this visit from the Dodgers was a nice distraction for Trump from the fact that he is busy destroying the world economy. It was another terrifying day on Wall Street. The Dow was down, the S&P was down, cocaine was up. The S&P 500 has lost more than 10% of its total value since Thursday, costing Americans billions of dollars from their stock portfolios and retirement funds. But here's the thing about Donald Trump. He doesn't care about money. He knows that there are more important things in life, like love. He's definitely flipping out. His once loyal gaggle of gazillionaires is turning on him because they're losing so much money. So today he wrote, "The United States has a chance to do something that should have been done decades ago. Don't be weak. Don't be stupid." That's right. Be strong and stupid. Also, don't be a panickin'. And then in parentheses, he explains that means a new party based on weak and stupid people. Panicking. Hey, look, I'm not an expert when it comes to the economy, but I am an expert when it comes to nicknames. And panicking is not going to catch on, okay? But hang in there, everyone. There's no cause for alarm. Be strong. The guy who went bankrupt 6 times is going to steer us through this disaster he created for no reason at all. So far, Panicking Skywalker has wiped out $11 trillion since Inauguration Day. Gone, just into thin air, but at least we won't have tampons in the boys' bathrooms. If you look at this chart of the market since Trump took office, you notice anything familiar? Get the market a can of Aquanet quick, because... Okay. Remember when he told us to inject bleach to get rid of COVID? Turns out those were the good ideas. After emptying America's pockets, the president hopped on the jet we pay for. He flew to one of his many golf resorts and spent the weekend winning yet another golf tournament. He posted this video from the golf course. You can see here another hole-in-one from Dear Leader. Not a care in the world. It's good to see him relaxing. Killing the economy can be stressful. You could get... Trump also skipped out on honoring 4 fallen soldiers so he could have dinner at Mar-a-Lago. In his defense, It was fajita night, and it wasn't just any dinner. It was a fundraising dinner for his super PAC, for which he charged $1 million a plate. Who is paying $1 million for more of this? If you want to throw away $1 million, just put it in the stock market. You don't have to give it to him. And of course, because Trump has now stocked the press pool with sycophants from these right-wing media outlets, there were plenty of reporters on hand to tee him up to brag about his win on the golf course.
Any questions?
How was the golf tournament?
Very good, because I won. It's good to win. You heard I won, right? Did you hear I won? Just to back it up over there. I won.
What's your handicap
I like
these
to win.
days?
Very low. I have a very low handicap.
He won again. Of course he won. He goes, anyone who beats him gets deported to El Salvador. But the good news, for those who are worried about that we are headed to a recession, if not worse, don't be worried, because our man Don has a plan to make us a lot of money and fast with the new Trump Gold Card.
$5 million. For $5 million, this could be yours. That was the first of the cards. You know what that card is?
Gold card.
It's the gold card. The Trump card, gold card.
When did he turn into the world's sweatiest magician? Wouldn't even fit in your wallet. They give him little art projects to keep him busy sometimes. Today, he threatened to slap another 50% tariff on China. He's absolutely slap happy, and nobody knows why. He reportedly chose the amounts for these tariffs on all these countries himself. They gave him a menu of options, and he personally selected the numbers for each one, like he's ordering off the McValue menu. But maybe the most confusing tariff is the one Trump put on an island near Antarctica that is only inhabited by penguins. I guess they better get to work on another sequel for Happy Feet, because I don't know what else they're going to do. One prominent country that is not on the list of tariffs is Russia, and rightly so. They've been so good to us. The White House issued a statement saying it wasn't appropriate to impose tariffs on Russia while they're engaged in ceasefire negotiations with Ukraine. But you know what country they did put a tariff on? Ukraine. That's right. So now the guys who work for Trump, who are presumably smart people, I don't know, they have to be aware of what a terrible idea this is. They have to go on TV and defend it. This is Scott Bessent, Trump's Secretary of the Treasury, this weekend on Meet the Press.
The markets lost more than $6 trillion in value. Was this disruption always part of the plan, Mr. Secretary?
Look, Chris, markets are organic, the animals, and you never know what the reaction's going to be. One thing that I can tell you as the Treasury Secretary, what I've been very impressed with is the market infrastructure, that we had record volume on Friday, and everything is working very smoothly, so the American people can be very, take great comfort in that.
Relax, that's right. Everybody curl up and burn a good book. It's the guy who sounds like he's BSing his way through an oral report because he didn't read the materials has it all under control. And then we have the director of the National Economic Council, Kevin Hassett, who's quite a gifted suckler of teat.
So if you're saying that he's waiting on great deals and 50 countries have already come to the table, have any of them been great deals, good enough for him to negotiate with?
I've seen some deals that are great, and President Trump is going to decide if they're great enough. But again, after decades and decades of mistreating American workers, it's going to be tough to get him to decide to really come to the table and sign on the dotted line. But when he does, he's going to sign with that big, long, beautiful signature, and he'll have made a great deal for America.
Sounds like Kevin might have some pictures of Trump under his mattress. Oh, that big, long, beautiful signature. You just want to, put your tongue on it and lick it a little. Trump was elected in large part because he promised to improve the economy on day one. And all the warning. Remember when he warned us of this?
If we lose, you're going to have a crash like you wouldn't believe. If we lost this election, I think the market would go down the tubes. I think it's going to be 1929 depression if we don't win.
If I would have lost, the stock market would crash.
If he's elected, the stock market will crash. If he gets in, the market will crash. If Biden gets in, the market will crash. If Harris wins this election, the result will be a Kamala economic crash. We're going to have a crash like a 1929 crash if she gets in.
We're going to have a crash like 1929 if she gets in. It will not be pretty. Thank you.
No, thank you. And tonight, we're going to party like it's 1929. Meanwhile, as we cower under the rule of our imperious pumpkin, the King of England, King Charles, is playing flute with the London Vegetable Orchestra. I blame Trump for that, too. The king wasn't blowing carrots before he was president. There were protest rallies across the country this weekend. Hundreds of thousands of Americans marched to demand that Trump keep his tiny baby hands off our Medicaid and Social Security. And some people really have fun with it. With signs like, honk if you never drunk texted, war plans, IKEA has better cabinets, but it was the Gulf of Mexico at birth, grab him by the testicles, super callous, fascist, racist, sexist, Nazi, POTUS. Here's one for J.D. Vance. We're all the couch now, and finally, Elon can oligargle my nuts. People are mad. Even a lot of Republicans are mad, but we have to remember the reason that these people supported Trump in the first place is not because they wanted to put tariffs on other countries. They supported Trump and his cronies like Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville because they're working to protect us from the real issues.
Jackie, we have entire men's teams across this country now that are turning trans.
Yeah.
Women's teams, they're turning trans. And that's going to be a situation where it's going to pick up speed because these woke globalists are pushing these kids to say, if you can't compete in men's sports, let's just transition and say you're a woman and participate in women's sports.
How many hours of the day you think Tommy Tuberville thinks about trans stuff? Does he ever have other thoughts or just trans? Why do I feel like one day he's going to come out and reintroduce himself to the world as Tammy Tuberville? Is that? I would love to see his search history. I bet that's a wild ride. I bet that is a 1979 Pontiac Trans Am he's driving in. And then we have measles making a comeback. There have been at least 600 reported cases of measles in 21 states. Stocks are down. Measles are up. Who could have guessed that hiring a vaccine denier as Secretary of Health and canning the experts in charge of tracking infectious disease would be a negative? I don't know. Another child died of measles in Texas, which is especially awful because that doesn't have to happen. We have a way to prevent this from happening. RFK Jr. actually took a break from working on his pecs to go to the funeral service to say what? I don't know. Oops. But we seem to be pedaling backwards in every area of American life. But one area in which I'm hopeful that Secretary Kennedy will have a positive impact is on our food supply. He claims to be for healthier organic foods, and in at least one instance, we're starting to see results as he makes his mark on the fast food industry.
There are a lot of chicken restaurants, but only one serves it the old-fashioned way, without regulation.
RFKFC, mother cluckers!
If you love fried chicken, but hate safety measures, dig into RFKFC, 100% pure, unvaccinated chicken.
I love protein!
Every delicious wing, thigh, and breast is personally killed by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Once deceased, each piece is rolled and coated with Bobby's secret blend of 11 germs and spices, including salmonella, E. coli, and pure powdered testosterone. Get an 8-piece bucket, enough for the whole family, and the worm in your brain. Once you try RFKFC, you'll be hooked.
This stuff is more addictive than heroin, and I would know. That too.
Try our new Maha Extra Value Meal, a 15-piece bucket, manure-grown potatoes, and a 64-ounce jug of unpasteurized milk, all for just $16.99. Disease on down the road to RFKFC.
Oh, it's better than barbecued dog.
Guillermo, do you know how many subscribers we have on YouTube now?
20 million.
That's right. Yeah, that's why we're wearing these glasses. Thanks for being a subscriber. If you're not, help us get to 20,000,001.